Admiral Zyx-4471 of the Kroilian Empire was having what humans would call a very bad day, though he wouldn't learn that particular phrase for another 6 standard hours. His Cotonus exoskeleton clicked nervously against his command throne as he reviewed the intelligence reports for the 3rd time, hoping somehow the data would change. It didn't. "Explain to me again," he said to his intelligence officer, Commander Vel-2290, "how a species that still uses chemical propulsion managed to destroy 3 of our advanced scout fleets." Vel-2290's antenna twitched, a sign of extreme discomfort among the crew. "Sir, the humans appear to have improvised. Our scouts detected no advanced weaponry, no energy shields, nothing that should have posed a threat to our forces, and yet," Admiral Zyx-4471's voice dripped with sarcasm, "here we are, missing 1,500 ships and having to explain to the High Command why a primitive species from the Outer Rim has become a tactical problem." The truth was, the Kroilian Empire had been expecting an easy conquest. Earth, or Sultry as it appeared in their catalogues, had been marked for resource extraction 6 months ago. The planet contained valuable rare metals, and the bipedal mammals inhabiting it seemed laughably primitive. Their most advanced spacecraft couldn't even break their own light barrier, and their military technology was based on explosive projectiles and chemical reactions. What could possibly go wrong? The first hint that things weren't going according to plan had come 3 weeks ago. The initial scout fleet of 500 vessels had simply vanished near the asteroid belt surrounding Sultry. No distress signals, no debris field, nothing. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. Perhaps they encountered a natural phenomenon, the High Command had suggested. A solar flare or an unexpected gravitational anomaly. But Admiral Zyx-4471 had been fighting interstellar wars for 43 cycles. He knew the difference between natural disasters and enemy action. The second scout fleet had been sent with orders to proceed with extreme caution and maintain constant communication with the command ship. They had lasted exactly 17 minutes after entering the Sol system. This time, there had been brief communications, panicked reports of human vessels that moved impossibly fast, weapons that seemed to bend the laws of physics, and defensive systems that adapted in real time to Kroilian attack patterns. The last transmission had been from Fleet Commander QEL-7712, screaming something about impossible mathematics before the signal cut out. "Sir," interrupted Communications Officer Trell9981, "we're receiving a transmission from the human home world. It's unusual. Put it through." Admiral Zyx-4471 commanded, adjusting his ceremonial war cloak. He expected to see a frightened human leader, perhaps offering surrender terms. Instead, the screen flickered to life, showing a human female with short brown hair, wearing what appeared to be a casual blue uniform. She was sitting in what looked like an office chair, holding a steaming cup of something. "Hi there," the human said cheerfully, taking a sip from her cup. "I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, Director of Earth's Diplomatic Defense Initiative. I assume you're here about the recent misunderstanding with your scout fleets." Admiral Zyx-4471's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Misunderstanding? You destroyed our ships." "Well, technically, we recycled them," Dr. Chen corrected, setting down her cup. "Very eco-friendly approach. We're quite proud of our waste management protocols." "Recycled?" Commander Vel-2290 leaned forward. "What does that mean?" Dr. Chen smiled, and somehow that expression made Admiral Zyx-4471's exoskeleton feel suddenly uncomfortable. "Oh, we took them apart and used the materials to build better ships. Your technology is quite fascinating, though I must say, your shield generators are terribly inefficient. We managed to improve them by about 400% just by rearranging the quantum matrix alignment." The bridge fell silent. Quantum matrix alignment was theoretical physics that even the most advanced Kroilian scientists barely understood. "That's impossible," Admiral Zyx-4471 said weakly. "Is it?" Dr. Chen tilted her head. "Would you like to see the improvements we made? I think you'll find them quite impressive." Before anyone could respond, the tactical display lit up with proximity alarms. Ships were decloaking all around the Kroilian fleet, but they weren't human vessels. They were Kroilian ships, but wrong somehow, modified and enhanced beyond recognition. "Those are our ships," whispered Commander Vel-2290. "Were your ships." Dr. Chen corrected from the screen. "We've made some modifications. Better engines, improved weapons systems, more comfortable crew quarters. The original designs were quite cramped, weren't they? We added coffee makers to each bridge. Morale is very important in space combat." Admiral Zyx-4471 noticed that the modified ships weren't just improved versions of Kroilian designs, they were fundamentally different, as if someone had taken the basic concept and reimagined it from first principles. The whole configurations were smoother, more elegant. The energy signatures were completely alien, yet somehow familiar. "This is a declaration of war," Admiral Zyx-4471 snarled, though his voice lacked conviction. "Oh no," Dr. Chen said, looking genuinely concerned. "This is us trying to avoid war. See, we've been monitoring your communications for the past 6 months. Your encryption is adorable, by the way. We cracked it in about 47 minutes. We know you're here to strip mine our planet and relocate our population to work camps." She paused to take another sip of her beverage. "We're not really okay with that plan. You cannot stop the might of the Kroilian Empire," Admiral Zyx-4471 declared, though he was beginning to suspect this might not be entirely true. "Admiral," Dr. Chen said gently, "may I call you Admiral? We don't want to stop your empire. We don't want to stop your empire. We want to help you become better neighbors. Help us." "Absolutely. For instance, we noticed your empire spans 1,247 star systems. But your faster-than-light travel is limited to about 15 times light speed. Terribly slow. We've developed a new propulsion system that achieves about 450 times light speed. We'd be happy to share the technology." Admiral Zyx-4471 felt his world tilting. "You've had this technology for 6 months. "Oh no, we developed it last Tuesday. Took us most of the morning. Jimmy Martinez in Engineering 7 figured out the key principle during his lunch break. Brilliant fellow, Jimmy. He was eating a sandwich when the solution just came to him." The Admiral's intelligence officer was frantically running calculations on his console. "Sir," he whispered, "if they're telling the truth about their FTL capabilities, they could reach our homeworld in 3 days. It would take our fastest ships 2 months to make the same journey." "But you're primitive," Admiral Zyx-4471 said, his voice now carrying a note of desperation. "You don't even have interstellar colonies." "We didn't see the need," Dr. Chen explained. "Earth is lovely, and we were quite happy there. But then you showed up with plans to destroy our home, and well, that changed our perspective somewhat." She gestured off screen, and the tactical display updated again. This time it showed not just the immediate area, but a broader view of the star system. Human ships were everywhere, thousands of them, all built with modified Kroilian technology, but somehow more advanced than the originals. "We've been quite busy this week," Dr. Chen continued. "We've established defensive positions in 17 adjacent star systems, just in case you decided to bring reinforcements. Oh, and we've taken the liberty of sending diplomatic envoys to your neighboring civilizations." The Xanthari Republic was very interested in our new shield technology. The Vegan Confederacy placed an order for 300 of our improved FTL drives. "You've contacted our neighbors." Admiral Zyx-4471's voice was barely a whisper. "Of course, galactic politics is all about networking, isn't it? We've found that most species are quite reasonable once you explain that you're not interested in conquest, just in being left alone to develop in peace." Commander Vel-2290 was receiving reports from across the fleet. "Sir, we're being hailed by the Xanthari Republic. They're offering to mediate a peaceful resolution to this conflict, and the Vegan Confederacy is requesting a formal trade agreement," added Communications Officer TREL-9981. Dr. Chen nodded approvingly. "See, much better than all this unpleasant business with invasion fleets and planetary destruction. We've also set up a small research station near your homeworld, just to keep an eye on things. Nothing threatening, just a peaceful observation post near our homeworld." Admiral Zyx-4471 was beginning to feel dizzy. "Well, in orbit around your homeworld, technically. We wanted to make sure our diplomatic messages reached the right people. Your planetary defense systems are quite impressive, by the way. We particularly liked the quantum torpedo arrays. We've made some improvements to those as well." The Admiral's communications array exploded with incoming messages. The High Command was demanding immediate reports. The Xanthari Republic was offering military assistance to Earth. The Vegan Confederacy was proposing a 3-way defensive alliance, and somehow, impossibly, there were reports of human ships in orbit around the Kroilian homeworld. "How?" Admiral Zyx-4471 asked, his voice breaking slightly. "How did you accomplish all of this in just 6 months?" Dr. Chen set down her cup and leaned back in her chair. "You know what the beautiful thing about humans is, Admiral? We're problem solvers. When you told us we were going to be enslaved or killed, we didn't despair. We got curious." She stood up and walked to what appeared to be a window, though Admiral Zyx-4471 suspected it was actually a sophisticated display screen. We have this saying on Earth: necessity is the mother of invention. You gave us the ultimate necessity, survival, so we invented. In 6 months, you advanced from primitive chemical rockets to faster-than-light travel that surpasses our own. Admiral Zyx-4471 said, still struggling to process the information. Actually, that took us about 2 weeks, Dr. Chen corrected. The rest of the time we spent on defensive systems, diplomatic protocols, and making sure our new friends in the Xanthari Republic and Vegan Confederacy understood that we're not expansionist. We just want to be left alone to pursue our interests in peace. She turned back to face the screen. We also spent considerable time studying your culture, your history, your motivations. We wanted to understand why you thought conquest was necessary. And what did you discover? Admiral Zyx-4471 asked, genuinely curious despite his dire situation. Resource scarcity, Dr. Chen said simply. Your empire is built on the assumption that there's never enough of anything to go around. But that's not actually true. The galaxy is vast, and with proper technology, there's more than enough for everyone. She gestured to someone off-screen, and suddenly the tactical display showed a detailed analysis of the local star cluster. For instance, your empire could triple its available resources simply by mining the asteroid fields in uninhabited systems, but your current technology makes that economically unfeasible, so you're offering to solve our resource problems. Admiral Zyx-4471 asked. We're offering to teach you how to solve your own resource problems, Dr. Chen corrected. Give a species, a fish, and they'll eat for a day. Teach them to fish, and they'll never go hungry again. The Admiral looked around his bridge. His officers were all staring at the tactical display, where human ships continued to appear in impossible numbers. Each one was a masterpiece of engineering that surpassed anything the Kroilian Empire had ever built. This is impossible, Admiral Zyx-4471 said, though he was no longer sure of anything. Admiral, Dr. Chen said, her voice becoming more serious. We didn't want any of this. We were perfectly happy growing our tomatoes and arguing about sports teams. But you forced our hand. You came to our home with plans to destroy everything we care about. She leaned forward, and her expression hardened. You didn't know what we were capable of because we didn't know what we were capable of. Necessity is the mother of invention, and you gave us a very pressing necessity. What do you want? He asked finally. We want to go home to our families and our gardens and our silly reality television shows, Dr. Chen said simply. We want to know that our children can grow up without fear of alien invasion fleets. We want to be left alone to be wonderfully, chaotically human. She paused, then smiled again. But we also want to be good neighbors. We're prepared to share our technological improvements with any civilization that commits to peaceful coexistence. We're offering a new model for galactic cooperation, one based on mutual benefit rather than conquest. Admiral Zyx-4471 looked around his bridge. His officers were all staring at him, waiting for orders. But what orders could he give? His fleet was surrounded by ships that shouldn't exist, built with technology that shouldn't be possible, crewed by beings who had somehow become more advanced than species that had been traveling the stars for millennia. If we withdraw, he said slowly, what guarantee do we have that you won't pursue us? None, Dr. Chen said cheerfully. But then again, what guarantee did you offer us? The difference is, we don't want to conquer anyone, we just want to be left alone to develop in peace. She stood up from her chair. I'm transmitting the coordinates for a diplomatic meeting. We suggest you bring representatives from your high command, as well as delegates from the Xanthari Republic and the Vegan Confederacy. We have a lot to discuss, and if we refuse, Dr. Chun's smile became slightly sad. Then we'll have to find other ways to ensure our safety. We really hope it doesn't come to that. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Orders, sir, Commander Vel-2290 asked quietly. Admiral Zyx-4471 stared at the tactical display, which still showed thousands of human ships surrounding his fleet. 6 months ago, these beings had been primitive. Now they were offering to revolutionize galactic civilization. Contact the High Command, he said finally. Tell them we need to discuss new diplomatic protocols. And Commander, yes sir. Ask them about this coffee the humans mentioned. If we're going to be negotiating with them, we might as well understand their culture. As the Kroilian fleet began its withdrawal, Admiral Zyx-4471 couldn't help but wonder what other surprises the humans might have waiting. They had tried to destroy humanity, expecting easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened something that would reshape the entire galaxy. And somehow, impossibly, the humans were offering to share their revolutionary discoveries with anyone willing to embrace peace. Perhaps being defeated by such a species wasn't the worst thing that could happen to the Kroilian Empire. Perhaps it was exactly what they needed. 3 months later, Admiral Zyx-4471 found himself sitting in a human-designed conference room, sipping something called coffee and listening to Dr. Chen explain the principles of sustainable galactic development. The Kroilian Empire had signed the Terran Accords, joining 17 other species in a new model of interstellar cooperation. And for the first time in his long military career, Admiral Zyx-4471 was genuinely hopeful about the future. The humans had tried to warn them. They didn't know what they were capable of. Now the entire galaxy was learning, and it was wonderful.